We're starting our lesson, our service now. I want to welcome everyone here today. I am stepping in for Reverend Loretta, and we're going to have a good lesson. And once everybody gets settled, we're going to have our spiritual mind treatment. Recognizing that there is but one power, one present, one God, and all of us are one with this power and presence. And as we move through our week and throughout the remainder of this year, we are connected to that power that is omnipotent, omni-action, and omnipresent in every area of our lives. We let go of doubt and fear and anxiety and move forward easily, effortlessly. Being one with God, we let go of fear and know that the power and the presence of God is always guiding, always supporting, always guiding us to right action. Knowing and accepting this oneness with the infinite spirit of life, we move forward with confidence. We know and accept our oneness with God in everything we do, say, or think. We let go and let the power and the presence of God guide and support us. And as we do this, greater harmony, greater peace comes forth in each one's life. Being one with this power, we know and accept the goodness that comes forth. We know that God is always answering our prayers, answering our petitions. And we know and accept this truth that we are divine ideas in the mind of God, divinely guided, supported, and maintained. And we move forward knowing that greater creativity, greater health, greater well-being, greater acceptance of self. For being one with God, we must first accept who we are and what we are. And being one with this omnipotent action, omnipresent God, we cannot fail. We cannot fail to meet whatever expectation or goals we set for ourselves. And with the love of the power and the presence of God, we share this knowledge. We share this feeling. We share this knowingness that God is all there is and there is nothing else. And we move forward knowing that the new year will bring greater joy, greater happiness, greater prosperity, greater health and well-being. For we have set the pattern for everything that we desire to come forth easily, effortlessly. And with praise and gratitude for the love of God and the divine Spirit of God, I release this treatment into the law of mind and action, where it's accepted and acted upon at once, and so it is. And now I'd like to welcome my fellow practitioner, Emily Howard, to come and do our reading.
Good morning. Thank you. The theme for this month is the gifts of spirit. My reading is from Ernie Chu's Soul Currency. Trust the source. The wellspring of our spiritual capital gushes whenever we choose to invest our inner resources with focused intentionality. Because our inner gifts, actually are aspects of the divine spirit, we always, under any conditions and for whatever reasons we choose, have access to source energy in the form of raw potential. By using the catalysts of passion and inspiration, we can intensify, enrich, and deepen the power of our spiritual capital. Then we can reshape it into forms that we experience as having greater value, deeper connection, purpose, and fulfillment. The only thing we must remember is that source energy flows in nonlinear ways. It may be difficult to grasp that you are responsible for the creation of your abundance and fulfillment. If you work for a company, you may think your job creates money, but in fact your spiritual capital sets in motion a shift in the conditions and circumstances that made it possible for you to get the job in the first place. If your focus is on money, the universe responds in the swiftest way it can by seeing that you receive a timely tax refund check or monies that are owed to you. The universe response might also show up in non-monetary ways that can be converted into money, such as when you find something of value that you thought was lost, are given a present, or create a situation that gives you an opportunity to make money by representing a product or person. Source energy is always available for you to draw on. It's never too late to discover it. Whether you create a situation in which there is a dire need for you to shine, or whether you're empowered by your imagination, a vision, or new ideas that just seem to pop into your mind. The more you learn to value your spiritual assets, the more the world will reflect that great value back to you. You can trust that your focused intentions will activate what mythologist Joseph Campbell has called the invisible hands of the universe, and economist Adam Smith has described as the invisible hand of the marketplace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily, for that wonderful reading. And now I'd like to wish everyone a happy Sunday. Okay, Luigi. And now we'll have some wonderful music from Oichi.
Good morning. This December it's pretty fast, but my birthday is coming up next week, and I'm kind of mixed feeling now because I'm over 40 already. So you know that. Well, actually, it's the next week, so it's tense. So I just remind you now, so you remember. Right. Anything that makes me feel good, not like making feel bad to just return it and whatever. Anyway, so this morning I would like to play something that's slightly different from what I usually do, is because I do solo piano pretty often here. So I had an opportunity to perform last night at some art gallery, and we played something other than jazz, but in the jazz trio situation, so that was kind of interesting. And I played something from Beatles, so I was gonna play some Beatles tune, I guess. My favorite tune, one of favorite tunes, Here, There, and Everywhere. Hope you enjoyed.
fantastic. That was beautiful. Well, I'm here today to give the lesson. The theme for the month is spiritual gifts. And I chose today the gift of love, which is about the most powerful gift that we can all possess or use. Spiritual gifts gives us a guidance on how to interact and react to each other. These gifts, sometimes we recognize them, and sometimes we do not recognize them. And sometimes we misuse these precious gifts given by Spirit to everyone. There is no select group in God. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, omni-action. Just think about that. Everywhere, evenly present, accessible by everyone, regardless of your faith, your disbelief. If you don't believe in God, God believes in you. Doesn't judge, doesn't ever leave you alone. You always have the presence of God. The problem is, do we recognize it? Ernest Holmes says in Science of Mind, states that I am in the midst of you is the sole and only creative agency in the universe. Whether that creative agency is called your imagination or will is one and the same. The I am in each one of us is the presence of God. And I'm talking about love I'm not talking about sentimental love or gushy love or I love you and I cannot live without you. This is not a kind of love I'm talking about. I'm talking about that love that respects the humanity in everyone. The love that will allow you to reach out to someone who looks completely different and acts different than you act or look. The love that reaches across borders and racism and all the isms that you can think of. That's the kind of love I'm talking about. How do we share that love? We share it by talking, interacting with people, accepting everyone where he or she may be in his or her consciousness. The one thing we shouldn't do is to try to change people, but to accept. And the greatest love of all loves is self-love. I've met people who said, oh, I don't like my name, I don't like my face, I don't like my body, I don't like this. Why? That body, that face, the Spirit of God is in that body. The Spirit of God brought forth that body to express at this time in this place. The spiritual part of you lives on. The body that we have is the vehicle for this dimension. There are many, many dimensions of life and many transitional forms of life, but on this planet, you need a body. And that body should be cherished. That body should be loved. The image of you is a reflection of Spirit. And when you deny that part of you, you deny the God presence within you. And I'm not saying that I am perfect because I sometimes fall short, but I remember that I was created by this power that is everywhere and brought forth on this plane of action for a purpose. We all serve a purpose. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that perfect, that presence, that intelligence in me that guides and directs my thoughts, my actions, and my reactions. When you can love unconditionally, if any of you have had a pet, a dog or a cat, if you don't feed it, it still loves you. If you don't walk it, it still loves you. Whatever you do, you mistreat it, it still loves, because it's unconditional love. He loves the presence. He loves that spirit within you that resonates with him. The Spirit of God in us is the divine guidance, this love, this, think of it. We have the power to change every aspect of our lives. But we can't do it without love. We can't change without the underground, the foundation of the change being love. You can't change in hate. You can't change in fear, doubt, or anxiety. You must trust in the Spirit of God to guide you, to guide me, to guide all that we do. To step out on faith takes a great deal of courage, because and many times we've been conditioned to not trust, or we've had an experience with love that didn't go well. And so we assume that all experiences will be like the one that happened last year. But this is a new year, a new time, a new beginning. Each day that we wake up is a new beginning. It's a new day. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not here. I learned to live in the presence because I had a near-death experience. And I know for a fact that all that I have is now. And I live as I would like everyone, but I am talking about me, to know and express an appreciation and gratitude for the now. For the now is all that we have. Yesterday is not here. Tomorrow is gone. And if we could love in this presence, in this moment, and I'm talking about not just loving your family, but to love, spread love through the world. Right now we have people who hate each other, they don't even know each other well enough to say, I have an opinion about who is doing what or when. I like to think that through this science of mind, we are beginning to understand who we are and how we act and how we can influence the change in attitude and consciousness, because it's a matter of consciousness. What we think is what we get. I read by Wayne Dyer, there's a spiritual solution to every problem. Every problem, there's a spiritual solution. And in it, he talked about hate. And he stated that when you hate, you do more damage to yourself than the person you're hating. And he talks about how, through spiritual practice, we can change the way we think. And that the beauty of the spirit of life, of the Spirit of God, is that there's no one taking tally. Well, you've done so much wrong today and yesterday and the day before. There is no one taking account. There's no accumulations that will act against you. You're forgiven once you forgive yourself. And he talks about love as a healing power. That the love that we love for ourselves and the love that we give out can heal, can make you whole, can make you well. In the Shortcuts to Miracle, I was talking about a man who had a serious problem. He was diagnosed with AIDS, and so he went home to die. And then he went and got a spiritual mind treatment. And he started to bless his body and to bless himself. And he did it every day, twice, sometimes a day, and sometimes 3 times a day. And he went back, and they took another blood sample, and the AIDS was not there. HIV was not there. And what he did, he was a gay person, and his father had always said very negative things about him. And he went and he talked to his father, and he said, the practitioner said, you need to talk to your father. And he talked to his father, and his father said he knew. He knew. But yet the father denigrated him, and the father asked for forgiveness. And then the father stated, I love you. It would have been nice if the father could have said that in the beginning, but it took a change in the son and a change in consciousness of both to come to the point of loving each other. And when I talk about love, I'm talking about the way we think, the loving thoughts that we give out. The negative always produce bad experience. You can never hate your way out of anything or blame anybody else for anything. You love your way into good health. You love your way into prosperity. Not saying that you should not discern yourself. I'm saying if you see something and it's not right, then acknowledge the wrongness of it and state that it is wrong. But I am saying to you to say that is wrong, but to bless it so that it can change to something better. Because when we bless things, change take place. To say something is wrong and then continue on that negative spiral doesn't make a change. Change it. Acknowledge the change. Acknowledge the wrong and let it go and give it out and bless it in that action. The vibration in the universe is constantly vibrating. We are energy solidified. And once we put that vibration out there, it's going to return to us in the way we sent it forth. If we send it forth with good intentions, my intention today is to share what I believe with you, how love can change your life. And I know it has changed my life. I used to be, if you said something to me and I didn't like it, I would react instantly. And I discovered that that was not a very productive way to live. You say something that I don't particularly like, I think about it and I say, well, that is not who I am. And if I know that it's not who I am, then my reaction to it diminishes. I don't react. I let it go, and I bless it, and bless the person who said it. And I can tell you I had a concrete experience. It's God calling. I had a concrete experience I was working with a woman who was in charge of a program that I was directing. And she got very angry with me and started to say some very nasty things about me in front of a lot of people. And so I sat there and I let her finish. And then I said, "You are not talking about me, because that's not who I am. I like you. I can't say I love you, but I do like you. I like what you represent. I like the way you talk. I like the way you move, interact with people on this committee." And she said, "Well, how could you do that?" I said, "Because I know that in you there is a Spirit of God, and in me there is the Spirit of God. And if I can absolutely say that I honor the Spirit of God in me, then I must honor the Spirit of God in you." And she said, "Oh." She didn't say anything else, but "Oh." And I had totally forgotten about it, never thought about it again. She called me and said, "Fannie, I just want to say you are the nicest person I've ever met in my life." And I'm trying to figure out why I said, "Okay, thank you. I accept the compliment." And I want to say to you, accepting compliments of gratitude, accepting love is part of the cycle of love. We can give love, and we should expect to receive love. Because what you give out, and this teaching tells you that absolutely, positively, I am unanimous in that. That if you give out love, you will get love in return. I am going to read to you something that I think that we should think about. We should always think about how we react to situations. Do we get angry and stay angry for years and years and years, or do we let go and let the power of God work out the situation through releasing it in love, releasing it lovingly, and forget about it? Replaying old hurts does not help. It blocks your progress, my progress, any of us who would like to progress. Hanging on to old things, old hurts, old friends, if you had a falling out with someone, let it go. Something new will come forth, a new friend. I did a workshop about entrepreneurial development, and I stated to the group that if you work, and you work in an area or whatever your career is, and you love it, it's not work. If you work in an area that you hate getting up in the morning to get there, or you have a group of friends that you do not like and you're constantly in that group, that diminishes you. That causes blockages in your life, in your health, in your well-being, in your finances, in every area of your life. If you're in a job and you don't like it, leave. Now, do your research and determine what it is you love doing and do it. The Spirit of God will guide you to the perfect place with the right people. My treatment, I always doing the right thing with the right people at the right time for my well-being. Doing the right thing with the right people at the right time for my well-being. And I leave it with Spirit. Because I know that once I put this out, there's going to be an action that will bring me into a situation or an event or a place where I will meet the right people. And they will be the people or the event that will help me move myself forward. There are other gifts, gift of peace, gift of faith, but the most important is the gift of love. The gift of love makes it easy to accomplish whatever it is you are accomplishing. In the area of writing, if you love to write, it's easy to write. If it's music and you love it, it comes easily. Because that is the Spirit of God in you expressing through this medium. We must recognize these gifts and appreciate them. I don't have the gift of singing, and I know that. And I tried it, and it didn't work. But I do have the gift to talk. And I love to talk. And I have spoken at many, many high-level events at the UN. And I have led groups of people in many activities. And I appreciate that gift. I appreciate that gift. But what I'm telling you today is to decide what is your gift. What is it that you love to do? What is it that you love to do? And think about it. And I'm not saying, I'm thinking deep thoughts about it. What do you love to do? And if you love to do that thing, do it. And someone will say, oh, well, wait a minute now. You're telling me to go out and dance, and I like to dance, but how am I going to get paid? Well, put it in the law that you want to be compensated for this gift. This is the teaching that tells us how we can move ourselves forward. If you do it, there will be compensation. There will be an avenue for you to make income. Love is all there is. In the book titled Love and Law, Ernest Holmes says, first is the law, then is love. They two go together. We obey the law, and we use the love to help us move forward. I know that there may be some questions about, wait a minute now, I love to do a lot of things, and how do I do these myriad of things that I love to do? Well, sit down and think about which one that makes you feel joy internally. I'm not talking about love that says, well, if I put on a fancy dress, I look good. I'm talking about a love that when you think about it, it makes you feel good inside. Makes you feel joyous inside. Because what I'm saying to you, this is an inside reform. We think we live out here, but we actually live in here. And if you can get that consciousness and have that practice to show love for yourself and for others, it invigorates you. It heals you. It gives you energy. I'm going to read this statement about love, and I hope you remember it. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy, and it does not boast. Love is not proud. Love is not rude. Love is not self-seeking. Love is not easily angered. And love keeps no record of wrongs doing. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserve. This is the meaning of love. When we can reach that level, to think about it, to practice it, to know that through love, all things that we can do for ourselves are rightly available. There's a three-prong to this area in love. One is faith, the other is hope, and the third is love. But the greatest of these three items is love. The greatest is love. And to love yourself. In the Bible it says, love thy neighbor as thyself. It means to look out and love everyone that you meet. Although you may disagree with that person, it does not mean that you dehumanize that person. What you are loving in the person is the humanity, the humanness of all of us should be respected and loved. Because we are all equal in spirit. There's no up, there's no down, there's no out, there is just spirit loving and giving to everyone. And recognizing that and using it as a guide to guide you and myself and anyone that you share the information with, you hope they will use it to guide their interaction and their action with others, with families, with friends. To say that I haven't spoken to my cousin in 1,000 years and then I don't like, well, wait a minute now. Are you practicing what you preach? Walk the walk. And if you talk the talk, walk it. If you say you are practicing spiritual mind treatment and religious science, the one thing about this teaching is that it teaches you and me how to conduct ourselves. And that the experience that we experience will be what we desire if we use the teaching properly. And so ends the lesson. Thank you. Some more fantastic music. Okay. No. I'm having a seat. I'm going to take a seat.
Okay. So next tune we're going to play is, again, I guess I just make it this morning, just a Beatles morning. Back in October, I was in Japan for 2 weeks, and I made an appearance on the live radio show in Tokyo, where I was born. And this radio the guy, disc jockey, is a guy talks. He's pretty funny guy, and he claimed that his program is just an hour long, live radio. He claimed that that's a music program, and I never heard anything like his program before, so I didn't know his intention. But he's also a huge train lover, so radio fan, train lover, as I do too. I'm a radio fan too. So my intention was every time I appear at that radio station, I try not to play music and talk about train or about an hour and make it funny. That's my point. Make it funny. So he asked me to play a couple tunes, which I didn't bring any. But he asked me to play something, maybe this is one of my tunes or some jazz tune, some rock and pop tune. So I actually called this tune from Beatles. It's actually one of my favorite tunes, but it's really one of top list somehow. And this is called When I'm 64. Hope you enjoy.
I'm going to apologize to you all because I overlooked something here, and we're going to make it right. The prayer for December, can we all read that together? Created at the Great Spirit, I received the gifts of Spirit bestowed upon me. With grace and appreciation, my life becomes my blessing as I co-create with the divine. I am open to the gifts of Spirit. Peace, love, blessings, all these are mine by divine birthright, and I claim them now. I speak this word knowing that my voice gives forth the blessing. Thank you, Spirit, for all these gifts. I am so blessed. So it is. Now, I want you to not throw this away. It says the theme for November 2018, but that's a mistake. If you will look down, it says December 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. So hold on to it. And thank you all. Now, does anyone have anything to share?